Hello, good evening, and welcome back to the ninth round of the IRL F1 season, part of Invictus Racing League, with myself, Gareth, and as always here on a Monday evening, joining me in the commentary box is Alan Sabatino. How are you doing, Sab?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Here we are in France after what was, I'd have to say, Gareth, a very thrilling evening last week in at the Silverstone, where it went down to the last lap, and we saw Stinson, after many attempts and many off-track excursions which picked up penalties, he finally did pick up that race victory, and I think overall that night, I think he thoroughly deserved it. He was clearly the fastest guy, and he even said, didn't he, after in the commentary booth, that he didn't even pick up a warning. So a real good night for Stinson, but unfortunately it's probably a little bit too late for him now in terms of the battle for the championship.
Yeah, very, very much so. You've got to think that it is going in the way of Harry BR25, who can win the title this evening. I predicted round 9 at the start of the season. Can he do it? Can he snatch it at the earliest stage? He can. Here in France at the circuit, Paul Ricard, he just needs to outscore Stinson by 6 points this evening. So comes into the evening with a 42-point advantage, and after tonight only 48 potential points remain. So and that's if Stinson was to win with the fastest lap and Harry to non-score the final races of the season. So it really is trending in the favour of Harry BR25. Well, what of the championship permutations tonight? Well, as I said, if Harry outscores Stinson by 6 points, he is the champion, no matter what happens. If Harry wins, they need a top 3 finish, or I say they, either Hercules, but I don't believe Hercules is joining us this evening, so I believe it will just be Stinson. So Stinson would need to be in the top 3. If Harry wins with the fastest lap, second place is the only thing that Stinson can do to stay in this very, very faint championship hopes. Harry's second with the fastest lap, he needs 4th or better, and he's got, without the fastest lap, he needs 5th or better, and of course it goes down. I'm sure I'll keep you updated if we see the positions changing during the race. However, as I said, trending very much in the favour of the man in the Renault. And well, Sab, you saw the permutations for the Constructors' Championship. It looks pretty elementary at the moment. It's if Harry, the sole Renault tonight, can outscore the Red Bull team of Rudy and of JCol by one singular point, then tonight the Renault are confirmed Constructors' champions.
Yeah, and I don't think, even if Harry didn't turn up tonight, I think it would be a real tall order for Red Bull to turn that round. Renault have been absolutely superb this season, Harry and Hercules. They've always been in and around that podium places. Harry probably most likely winning as well, so they've really took a firm grip on the constructors, and with the form of Harry at the minute and the likes of Rudy and JCol, they've just slipped off, haven't they, just in the last few races. I think Harry probably will outscore that Red Bull team tonight on his own, but I'm sure those two guys in the Red Bull team will want to prove me wrong this evening and want to get as best scoring finish as possible, but we shall see. We are in France, and yeah, it's one of those tracks where there is plenty of overtaking potential, especially that long straight.
Yeah, very much so. It is a circuit that does open itself up for overtaking. A little bit of a Marmite circuit. You often find we have pretty good racing here. However, it can be a bit of a slog to watch at times. So we'll see if the guys can put on a good show this evening here at the IRL F1 League. Of course, Invictus Racing League. Go to invictusracingleague.com to find out all about the standings, all about the league. Of course, you can go to the socials at InvictusRL on Twitter, Invictus Racing League on Facebook and on Instagram, finding out more about how we can help you, how you can get involved in league racing from all formula, from all platforms, Steam, Xbox and on PlayStation. Racing every day from Monday to Thursday with 9 different leagues, I believe it is. We've got realistic performance leagues on a Thursday on the PlayStation and on Xbox, PC and PlayStation on the Wednesday, and Xbox on a PlayStation on a Tuesday, and just us here on a Monday evening, kicking off the week, the Premier class of Invictus Racing League. The top guys on the PlayStation, and well, is Harry going to leave the circuit Paul Ricard as very much that top man? He's been the bridesmaid for the last 2 seasons. Sab had to wait in line behind COG Games 62, but if he does take it tonight, he would have earned it.
Oh, most definitely. He's absolutely been superb this evening. I think one thing I spoke about at the beginning of the season with Harry, what he's definitely improved on is that consistency. Is when he's found himself a bit further down the field. He's not panicked. He's not take hold of him and really try and rush the result and force his way back in. He knows he's got the pace and he's managed to come through fighting. He's had a few races now where he's not won and still scores solid points, and I spoke to him briefly again this afternoon, and he just said it's all about bringing it home now. He knows he wants to win. He wants to go out in style, win this championship in style by taking the race victory, but he also knows that points mean prizes, and if he comes home in a podium place, for example, it's pretty much his title, isn't it? So Harry will thoroughly, if he does win it tonight, he will thoroughly deserve it, and my hat tips to him because he has been superb this season.
Yeah, he has, and all hats off to Harry as he looks to seal his first championship on both a Monday night and Invictus. In total, of course, he competes on a Thursday evening where he's second in the championship in the Realistic Performance League on the PlayStation. But we're getting ready to go to this session and kicking off what will be, I'm sure, a fascinating race with twists and turns. We've seen it in the past here. Of course, last time we were here was the first round of last season, Season 11, where Keiran on pole ahead of Harry, just Asas, and Foxy Red, who managed to get himself up into the second row of the grid. Gamer, the champion that season, only 6th, whereas, during the race, it was a bit of change for positions throughout, with just Asas taking the lead. Harry got passed by Gamer on the in-lap for the pit lane, and unfortunately that dropped him down a couple of positions on the out-lap. However, it was Keiran that won the race on circuit, but demoted to 5th place after an apparent post-race penalty due to crashing in qualifying and supposedly impeding other drivers. That dropped him all the way down to 5th, so it promoted Harry and gifted him a first win of the season, a first of 3, I believe it was, last season. But where else have we been here? Well, we were here back in Season 8, Round 3, when it was back at the No Assist League. It was Scopefielder who took the win again ahead of Sam Pito and White Fountain, making it a Haas 2-3 finish that evening. Now, the real question tonight, Sab, is will we see some weather? Because it's one thing we haven't seen so far this season. We haven't seen any wet weather all season in either session, and occasionally you do in France. I'm sure Foxy, our resident weatherman, will drop into the comments very shortly and let us know. But these guys have had a bit of plain sailing in the blue skies, it seems.
And they're going to have more plain sailing because our weatherman has reported it's going to be all dry once again. So these guys got it easy this evening. I think one thing we ought to talk about, Gareth, is the fact that in qualifying it can be particularly tricky to nail a lap round here with these vast runoff areas. It can be very easy to drift wide and invalidate round here. So these guys have got to make sure they keep those wheels firmly in those white lines, as we see MX Limitless, the first guy out on track in the Williams car. He's going to go out on a set of softs.
And Limitless with his best qualifying result this season back in round 6, where he picked up 7th place. He's followed on circuit by JCol, of course, race winner back at the second race of the season in Melbourne, Australia. Hasn't really had the rub of the green ever since then. However, JCol, whose best qualifying result, 3rd place at the opening race of the season in Mexico, is currently out on circuit as he goes on to the Mistral Straight. And the Mistral Straight, of course, used to be a beautiful 1.1 mile long straight all the way down to Scene Corner. However, whoever is in charge of circuit, Paul Ricard, decided to destroy it and put this rubbish chicane right in the middle of it, so it slows the cars down so they don't take a tremendous amount of speed into that full load right-hander. However, a bit of a tight, twisty circuit here. Very easy, as you say, Sab, to get it wrong, to invalidate, to maybe use some of this extra runoff area. Very colourful circuit. Of course, the asphalt, the blue, the white, and the red stripes, all different feels under the car to feel and test the abrasiveness. There we go. There's a word in there somewhere of the tyres, but. What's your opinion on the circuit? It can, like I said, it can be a bit of a Marmite circuit. Some tend to love it, some tend to hate it. It's a bit of a DRS train every now and then. What are you thinking about France?
Me personally, racing round here, I've quite enjoyed racing round here. I've had some good results in IRL racing round here. So for me, it's a track. If it's on the calendar, I tend to look at and think there's an opportunity to score some points. I totally get what you're saying, that people either love it or they hate it. It is one of those tracks that could be incredibly frustrating, especially if you don't get a setup right and you find yourself picking up penalties. I'm going to keep it on board with MX Limitless. He's the first guy to be setting the first flying lap of the evening. I thought he'd run wide there, just as I'm about to talk about it, but he managed to keep it in line now. He's down that Mistral straight now, going towards that chicane, so be interested to see what Limitless can do. Can he set the first time of the evening?
We'll keep on board. He's being followed by JCol, and behind JCol is the Haas of either both Haas following JCol. That's TTG Nathan and Andriy. Of course, Andriy, who's had a real upturn in pace in this second half of the season, has had some really strong results in qualifying and in the race. So watch out for the second Haas of Andriy. He will be looking at once get himself up involved in the top 5. He's been in the top 6 in qualifying for the last 4 races in a row, including 3 third place finishes in quali. So Andriy really picking up the pace in this late stage. JCol coming around the final few corners. Limitless, as you say, is coming to the final corner now, and we'll go on board with the Austrian as he comes up to the line. And Limitless up to the line. Let's see what the banker lap is for everyone so far. It's going to be a 27.812. Where does JCol go? He goes up into second position, a 27.900, about 0.08 of a second slower than the Williams.
Yeah, and Andriy, he's been quite impressive, hasn't he, recently? Andriy, he's slotted in just behind JCol. Not a great lap there. His teammate, TTG Nathan, slots in behind as well with a 28.2. So both the Haas guys have set the bank laps. I'm just looking at Bando now. Bando coming across the line, and he has gone quicker. 1:27.607. It puts him provisional pole.
Yep, good lap there from Bando. Of course, Bando, who's not really had a great season on the PlayStation across multiple leagues. It's not really gone his way. His best qualifying result was back at the opening race of the season, where he finished 4th place back in Mexico. He'll be looking at perhaps improving on that. He's currently leading away, 27.607, 0.2 of a second faster than the Williams. Up to the line comes TL44S in his first season after moving from pad to the wheel. What can Tom do as he goes up and stretches himself to P3 on the circuit, about 200ths off of the front row of Limitless, but good opening bank lap there from the Alpha Tauri. Let's find out what Harry's doing. Harry is on his first flyer. Stinson, however, on the medium tyres, and in fact getting he's got the DRS open, and he's just ahead of Harry, and Harry, who's has invalidated that one. So we'll go back on board with the man, or the only man now, that can rival Harry for this championship. Of course, no Hercules this evening, which means it's only going to be McLaren versus the Renault. You're so used to saying Mercedes leading, but yeah, it's going to be the McLaren of Stinson versus the Renault of Harry. What can Stinson do on this opening lap on the mediums, using a set of mediums in the race? Bold there from the McLaren.
It is a bold move, and if he can make it work, then this could really benefit him in the race. I'm just keeping an eye on Fozzy, and down in Mistral Straight, he benefited from a lovely toe from Harry there, and he's now coming around the final corner. Fozzy Red on the soft tyres, coming now down the start-finish straight, heading for that line. That line's further down the start-finish straight than some tracks. Can Fozzy Red... Yes, he jumps up into 6th place of 28.073. So not too far away there for Fozzy Red. Not a bad lap.
No, not at all. And I'm sure the likes of Finn Marcus and JCol ahead will think, oh, he's got some pace tonight. It's something we haven't seen from Fozzy too much this season. He's really not had the rub of the green. It's not going the way of the former or equal performance F1 champion back in Season 3. He's been here a long time, his old Fozzy Red 2000. And, we'll see what James can do later on tonight. Rudy on an outlap. He's getting ready to wind it up and get going. Of course, himself and JCol, as we said, need to outscore the Renault of Harry tonight, because otherwise Renault is winning that Constructors' Championship. The first time Renault would have won it since back when Jumper Leinen won it a few seasons prior, I think. I believe it was just Jumper Leinen and CLG Gamer 62 that won it a few seasons ago. But let's see what Rudy can do on his first flyer this evening. Here, this 15 corner with 6 left and 9 right turn, 5.8 kilometre circuit, 3.63 miles. It's going to be 27 laps, full throttle, around 58 to 60% of that lap. 46 gear changes per lap, which is going to average out at about 1,240 over the race distance. It's one of 167 race layouts here that you can do in France, as Rudy got it all out of shape leaving turn 6. And top speed, well, it's going to be bumping and bouncing up around the 190 to 200 metre mark, depending on how much downforce you're deciding to run this evening, as Rudy takes a little bit too much curb into the chicane, trying to get as much of a wide line to turn into the left-hander, but unfortunately just a smidge over. He's going to invalidate that first one on the soft tyres. We've got a couple of other guys out on outlap. Sab, who have you got on board with?
I'm going to keep an eye on Limitless again. He's still sat in second place. I was on board with Beastas, but at turn 6 he drifted too wide, got the track limit warning, and that was the lap invalidator. So I'm going to keep on board. We just have 9 minutes left. Limitless still in second place with Bando Biz at the top, which I'm not going to be rude to them. I did not expect those two to be first and second with just over 9 minutes left, but they are. They've earned it so far. Limitless coming down the Minstrel Straight now, keeping it nice and tidy, so it'll be interesting to see if he can prove and see if he can get any closer to Bando.
Yeah, and we'll stay on board with MX Limitless. Like I say, the Williams driver in his first season here, best result of 7th a few races ago. He'll be looking at improving on that, currently sitting on the front row of the grid. Well, what else have we got coming into this race? Well, just going through a couple of stats that I've been working on over the break and over the week that we've had since the last race back at Silverstone 7 days ago. And just a few little tidbits here and there. Well, 5 new podium finishes this season. It's the most that we've had in the IRL F1 League since it was previously the no assists league back at season 8, I think that was. But when we changed over, Harry, with his current points average haul of 13 points, is on target to hit 152. Which would put him right up there with the highest ever as Limitless comes into the box at the end of that one. So we'll go back on board with Harry, who's on the Mistral Straight now, coming up to the chicane, and see if the man that's on course to break some serious records this season can do so. And Sab, did you know that we've had, out of the this is the 9th race of the season, we've had 8 different drivers take a fastest lap so far this season. No one's decided to go for that fastest lap championship, it seems.
I did not know that. That's actually absolutely fascinating. Yeah, it just shows you, doesn't it? Nobody, like I say, nobody's wanting to go for that fastest lap championship. I'm just keeping an eye on Finn Marcus. I hesitated a little bit then because I thought he'd ran wide, but no, he's kept it going, and he's just under 2/10 quicker here, Finn Marcus. So Finn Marcus, if he keeps this up, should be dipping in to the 27s here, maybe around the likes of TL4 and Limitless here. He's got one corner to negotiate now, slight lock up, but nothing too drastic for the Mercedes driver. Can he improve now coming across the line? Where can Finn Marcus put his Mercedes onto the front row? A 27.756, decent lap there for the Mercedes driver.
Yeah, as Andriy then snatches pole position away with 127.562, so good lap there. I said earlier to watch out for the Haas, and there you go. Puts himself up into provisional pole with over 7 minutes left. Just whilst we were watching that, Harry burning another set of soft tyres, deciding that it wasn't going his way, and so that's 2 runs out for the Renault driver that without setting a lap time. Equally, Stinson is now out on circuit. He's just going through sector 1 now. He's decided to strap on a set of the softest compound of tyre. Can he improve on the current 10th position that he set on a set of mediums last time around, as TL44S goes up into provisional pole at 27.448. I'm sure Tom will be delighted with that. Like I say, it's his first season on the wheel. He's getting to grips with it, and he was one of my dark horses before we found out he was moving over to the wheel, but he's been getting faster and faster as Stinson invalidates that one going into the chicane of the Mistral Straight. So both Stinson and Harry struggling in qualifying so far.
It really is, and if it carries on the way it is, we should have a fascinating lineup for the grid. TL4 for us, a solid lap there. I'm keeping an eye on Beastas, the Alpha Tauri driver, TL4 for us, his teammate, and he's so far keeping this lap clean. So if he could just negotiate these last few corners now, he should be able to set his first time of the evening. He really was running dangerously wide there, but just managed to keep one tyre within the white lines. He's now gonna come across the line now for his first line up. Where is this going to put Beastas on the timing? He puts in pole 1:27.338. Decent lap there. So currently we have an AlphaTauri 1 and 2.
Yeah, I'm sure the AlphaTauri will be delighted at that, locking out the front row at the moment. But then we've got Haas Bando Best, who put himself up into 4th place ahead of Finn Marcus, TCG Nathan, and then Limitless. The grid is looking all sorts of out of whack this evening, with Stinson down in 11th, Harry down in 14th, and then even you've got some of the other drivers that have done well this season, the likes of Scopefielder, the likes of Rudy, JCol down in 8th as well. So some of the drivers that you'd think will be further up, much further down the order compared to usual. Well, Rudy's just coming across the line now, and the Red Bull driver currently in 7th place, so that puts about on at 27.811. You can see the gap between himself and Limitless, 1,000th of a second, so blink and you will miss it. In fact, the gap to Nathan ahead is only 100th of a second, so it shows you just here that maximising every single corner is absolutely critical, because otherwise you can find yourself on the side of being inside the top 10 or outside the top 10.
Interesting thing right now, Harry's going for another lap, but he's gone for another lap on a set of medium tyres. Has he burnt through his soft tyres already? He's only 4 minutes on the clock, so surely this is everything now for Harry. He's got to try and nail this now, otherwise he's going to find himself starting at the back of the grid. He doesn't want to invalidate. He's come through the tricky left right before the mid-short straight. So yeah, Harry on the medium tyre, and if he doesn't really nail it now, then we're going to be fascinated to watch him from the back, because he'll have to fight his way through this pack at the moment. We really do, like you say, have a real mix-up grid, but at the moment I'm just a little bit concerned about Scopefield there. He's not left his garage at all so far this evening. He's sat on a set of mediums, but not going anywhere, it seems. So Scopefield, the Super Swede in the Alfa Romeo, not going anywhere. But Harry, at the moment, is managing to keep this within the track boundary. So here he comes round that really fast. I love this part of the track, the really fast right-hander after the mid-short straight. Harry on the medium tyres. It'll be fascinating to see, Gareth, where he puts it on the medium tyres, because nobody else has gone for it yet on the mediums.
Yes, of course, Stinson got himself up into 10th, but he's had to go out on the set of softs to improve. But Harry, who's the only one on circuit bar the Haas that's just come out, and that is TCG Nathan. So Harry with some clean air, however, no toe to help him, which would have been useful with this medium rubber. But what can he do? Can he get himself up into the top 10? It would be a huge result if he can do, and get himself on an alternate strategy. It's only 12th place for the Renault so far. It's only a 28.421, and with 3 minutes left to go, you've got to think that's Harry outside of the top 10. Surely he doesn't have time to get in and out without with a time to set on the soft tyres. So clearly, if Harry's going to win this championship, he's going to have to do it the hard way.
He is indeed, and it's setting up for a mouth-watering race for us and the people watching, because Harry down in 12th place, I certainly didn't predict, and I certainly didn't predict Stinson behind him in 13th place. So with just over 2 minutes on the clock, Gareth, who are you fancying for pole? Is Beastas going to be able to hold on to that, or do you reckon we might see a surprise like Andriy or even Bando in 4th?
I think Beastas is looking pretty quick. We've seen that he's had a bit of an on-off season, has Beastas, this season. He's either been right up there or he's been sort of stuck in that midfield battle. So when it seems to be a track that he really likes, like the likes of Russia, we saw where the gap between himself and Harry at the end of the race was 300ths of a second, and back in Austria as well, where he was involved in that cracking battle with Harry, went down to the last lap for the win. He just seems to switch it on. So can Beastas do it? Andriy is always in with a good shout. This is the man that's really started to turn it on, as Stinson retiring from qualifying down in 13th position. So both the championship protagonists currently out of qualifying, as Scopefielder does decide to not go out and miss this one as well. So he's going to start from the back of the grid. Harry, you've got to think, isn't going to have time to get in and out in time. No, we're under 1 minute 30, and the Renault's just rolling into his garage now. So Harry will be outside the top 10. So it's really going to be a race to the flag for qualifying. It's going to be, well, we're going to find ourselves a brand new pole position holder so far this season, because at the moment the only the three guys that have been on pole position have been Harry, have been Stinson, and have been Hercules.
Yeah, that's a great opportunity then, isn't it, for the remaining guys? Harry down in 12th, Stinson in 13th. So these guys left now have got a real opportunity here. B says, I'm going to keep an eye on. He's going round the final corner now to start his one and final lap on them soft tyres. Can they keep it within the lines and can he improve? It's going to be absolutely fascinating. 45 seconds left on the clock.
It's all going down to the wire here, and just going back, I don't think Hercules has actually taken a pole position, but I'm sure I'll be corrected by someone in the comments at some point. But however, Andriy now coming down to the chicane in the middle of the Mistral Straight, and as he guns it down towards Scene Corner, as you say, an absolutely blistering full load turn 10, and you carry as much speed in as possible as you scrub it off all the way down into the what feels like forever turn 11. It's very easy to get it wrong and run out too wide, or even cut in too deep and get a little bit of understeer with oversteer on exit. But Andriy making his way around the final few corners. Up to the line will come the Williams very shortly of Limitless. He's in 8th place. We'll see what he can do, and Limitless, it seems, not improving on that one. So Andriy now up to the line. What can he do? Currently in 3rd position, looking for his highest ever qualifying result. What can the Ukrainian do as he comes to the line? Andriy is up into 2nd position so far. Can he hold it there? It's going to be mighty close. We've got Finn Marcus on for his best result so far. He's down in 5th place. Behind him is one of the Red Bulls. It looks as though that might be JCol that's currently around around the first few corners. We've got a couple of cars scattering off. That was Bando and the Ferrari of Burmeister, who said this is one of his favourite circuits. Beastas absolutely smashing his provisional pole time of 27.258. Can that be beaten by anyone else? JCol doesn't look as though he's going to get quite close enough. It's only 6th place for JCol. Nathan has invalidated this one. Rudy is invalidated his lap as well. So TL4S is also an invalidation. So it looks as though now that the curtain is drawn on qualifying for the 9th round of the season, Beastas will take pole position ahead of Andriy for his best result in qualifying in 2nd. TL4S is going to be absolutely delighted with that one. 3rd place with Bando Biz equaling his best qualifying result of the season, the best since the opening round back in Mexico. And Finn Marcus as well, of course. Marcus, whose best result so far was 4 8th place finishes in the top 5. I'm sure he'll be very happy indeed. However, the big news coming out of this one is Harry and Stinson, 12th and 13th.
Really shocking, and I think TL4 will be delighted to get 3rd, but he'll be feeling a little frustrated. I flicked over to TL4 after Beastas, and he was going quicker, not by much, but he was going quicker than his previous time, and he might have just stole 2nd place from Andriy, but in the end it was a superb 2nd place for Andriy, and TL4, like you say, will be still happy to get that 3rd place. But wow, that was an absolutely fascinating qualifying, Gareth.
Yeah. And there you go. Beastas in the AlphaTauri takes pole position by 0.01 or 0.161 of a second. TL4S 0.2 of a second back from him. However, very strong qualifying from the AlphaTauri team. Bando Biz in 4th, for Finn Marcus 5th, JCol 6th with TG Nathan and Rudy 7th and 8th. Limitless and Foxy Red inside the top 10. Outside the top 10 is Burmeister, Harry BR, championship leader, the man that can seal the title tonight if he outscores Stinson by 6 points. Stinson in 13th and Scopefielder without a time down in 14th position. So yeah, as you say, Sab, really surprising qualifying. Very interesting to see what the guys are going to do when it comes to the race session. This is the first time I think we're going to see 2 championship protagonists fighting from the back alongside each other. So how feisty are either driver going to be? Does Harry want to wrap up this championship at the earliest possible stage, at round 9 of the season? Well, will Stinson have anything to cover him off with? Will Stinson, of course, is I believe on the pad compared to the wheel, and I'm not getting involved in this pad versus wheel argument. I don't believe it exists. However, they all tell me that you get better traction on a pad compared to the wheel. Well, we'll find out when it comes to the race in just a few moments' time. Well, whilst we're waiting around here, make sure, guys, if you are enjoying the race session tonight, you are enjoying the race here, round 9, the IRL F1 League on the PlayStation, myself, Gareth and Alan Sabatino. You can follow me on Twitter at GT2_drive, and you can follow Sab at Alan Sabatino. You can go to InvictusRacingLeague.com to find out all about IRL, and of course, Invictus RL on Twitter, Invictus Racing League on Facebook and on Instagram. And if you are enjoying the races tonight and you are enjoying the stream, make sure you drop down into comments. Let us know who you're supporting, who you're watching, who you'd like to see do well tonight. Giving us a like on the video really does help us out. And of course, if you are new, welcome. Great to have you here in the IRL broadcast. Make sure you subscribe for plenty more racing across all 3 gaming platforms this week, from Monday through to Thursday. Plenty more racing. Of course, tomorrow night is the F1 League on twitch.tv/Invictus Racing League for Xbox. And equally on Tuesday, here on YouTube, is the F2 League on the PlayStation. Wednesday night is 2 leagues for the PlayStation, 2 leagues for the PC. It's PC F1 and F2. PlayStation F3 and F4, and on Thursday it is Realistic Performance League night. It's Xbox and PlayStation Realistic Performance, where we'll equally be racing here in France with a quali session. Of course, every other race it's a quali, and then the next race it is a reverse grid. So this week, quali race and a quali night for everyone. We'll see what can happen as you can tune in, all streamed and broadcasted across the week. So tune in for plenty of racing from IRL. Sab, as we were just saying, fascinating qualifying session going into this one. It's an overcast sky, but it looks as though the circuit is about to be blown up into fireworks and sparks as they send it down to turn 1, because we've got a whole new front row. It's the first time we've seen Beastas and Andriy on the front row. Who's going to get that launch into turn 1?
It's a very good question, and this is just like I was saying with qualifying, this is an absolutely superb opportunity for one of these guys to get a race victory here on a Monday night with Harry and Stinson down in 12th and 13th. And just talking of those guys, outside of the top 10, nobody fancying that soft tyre whatsoever. That soft tyre not usually favoured around this track. So Burmeister in 11th place and Harry in 12th, both on the mediums. But interestingly, Stinson in the McLaren on the hard tyre, with Schofield also on the hard tyre. So expect Stinson to probably go longer, and he'll probably try and hold on to the back of Harry on those medium tyres. So interesting strategy calls there from those guys on the outside of the top 10 with those medium and hard tyres. But as I was saying, this is a huge opportunity, isn't it, for the likes of Beastas, Andriy, TL4 first, Bando Biz in 4th, even Finn Marcus in 5th. It's very difficult for me to predict who could possibly win this race or even pick up a podium to that, but there is a great opportunity for one of these guys to really do it. So fingers crossed we have a great race, some clean racing, and we can see some fun this evening for one of these guys, especially to win potentially their first race. Yeah,
really looking forward to this one. As you say, all mixed up. You've got 2 championship protagonists fighting from the back of the grid. It's going to be key for Stinson. Can he stay in the DRS of Harry if he can't jump him off the line? Can Harry or Stinson get a run on some of the other guys ahead on the soft and keep them behind? Of course, as you say, mediums for Burmeister, who's looking to. So he said that France is one of his favourite circuits. Can he improve? Of course, he had a good run last time out. He picked up 3 points back in Silverstone. He needs 3 more this season to equal his best return in IRL F1, where he picked up 7 points. And we're not just focusing on the people that pick up all the points. Of course, Burmeister battling to beat the 7 points that he picked up back in season 10. Andriy, well, he's got 26 points so far this season, and that equals his season tally last time around. So with 4 races left to go, Andriy is in great shape for beating his points tally from last time, which is always the goal every single season, is to beat your points tally from the previous one. However, on the way back down, it's Foxy Red 2000. Well, he's starting in 10th place, and since finishing in 2nd in Australia, it took him another 4 races to gain 12 points. He's only scored 17 since then. Can he do better this evening as everyone files into their allotted grid slots, getting ready to send it down to turn 1? Of course, quite a quick left-right chicane. It's going to be Beastas versus Andriy. What can TL4 and Bando do from the 2nd row of the grid? We're getting ready to go racing here. The 9th round of the season. IRL F1 right out and down towards turn 1 in the head. It looks as though the AlphaTauri has got a good run. Covers off the Haas very early on. They're scattering behind, trying to find position. But Beastas holding on to the lead. Andriy in 2nd position. TTG Nathan's now managed to get up into 3rd place. We've got someone falling down the order already. It's one of a yellow flag for the Mercedes. It's Finn Marcus that's gone round at turn 2.
Yeah, and I was riding on board with TL4 Forest, and unfortunately he just bogged down a little bit, and that slightly opened the door for Bando Biz. He sent it up the inside of turn 1 into turn 2, and Bando Biz claims that position off of TO4 so a frustrating start for TO4 there, but Bando is a solid start for him in the race, but up into third, and he's looking to try and catch up with Andriy, and Andriy, his solid start there, he's keeping on, holding on to Bisas, and he'll be wanting to try and not lose him in these early stages and get that DRS.
And crucially, Harry already up into 9th place on the mediums. He's got himself ahead of Foxy Red 2000 and put himself put a car in between himself and Stinson, and they've both jumped Burmeister, who's dropped down to 12th place as everyone goes round Seam Corner at turn 10 for the first time this evening, with Bisas leading by 0.2 of a second. It's all about staying in that 1 second window here in France as you get within the DRS range in about a lap and a half's time. Of course, the first 3 laps, and then DRS is activated. Who can stay within that 1 second window and get dragged along? Will Andriy be able to hold on to this gap that he's got? Bando's looking very racy now, up into 3rd place, as you say, getting up ahead of the second AlphaTauri of TL4S as Bisas leads us across the line here for the 9th round of the season here, the IRL F1 League. Ignore that blue flag that was waving for no reason, but Andriy is still chasing down behind. We've got a battle going on between the 2 Red Bulls as JCol and Rudy fight it out over 6th and 7th.
Big news in terms of the championship, Gareth. Stinson has had to come into the pits with front wing damage, so this hard tyre strategy he's gone with is dramatically backfired on him. He's coming back out of a set of mediums, but that's put him all the way back in 14th place now, some 25 seconds behind. So this is a real challenge for Stinson now to not only get back to the back of the pack, but even score points. So this is really starting to look like it's going in Harry's favour already at this early stage. Yeah,
and of course that is the risk of putting the hard tyres on to start your race with, is if you pick up any wing damage, especially starting that far down the grid, that any wing damage early on means you have to take the hards off and you can't use them again unless you want to put them on later on in the session. So, as you say, Stinson now very much up against it as the Red Bulls still going at each other as they go round lap 2. But yeah, Harry, well, he's currently sitting in 9th place, closing in to Limitless as Foxy Red and Burmeister battle over 10th and 11th position, and the Ferrari trying to get past the Alfa Romeo, and this is a fight we've seen before, as Burr just giving him a little bit of a kiss as they go into the turn 14 as Bisas leads around. He's starting to break that gap. They go over 1 second now. DRS is enabled, so Bisas needs to get about a 10th of a second over the next half a lap or so, and he'll manage to break the toe for Andriy going down the Mistral straight. Behind, as you see, Burmeister still closing in. The gap is it's only Andriy that's starting to fall outside of DRS now. It's going to be ever so close as they come around the DRS line. He might just be inside it. It's going to be on that 1 second bubble as Burmeister struggling to get the car down. You can see behind Foxy Red 2000, Foxy, who's on the soft tyres, so should have the rubber green, but Burmeister's going to lose the car and he's going to go round. Just about manages the top. Fortunately for Finn Marcus, he ghosts at the final second, because that would have been an absolutely horrendous incident for the Mercedes. Would have gone ploughing and T-boned the side of Burmeister, but Burmeister just getting it wrong there on the exit of turn 6, and he's now fallen to the back of this pack. However, not to the back, because currently that's held by Stinson. As you say, was stuck in that or having to come in for that pit stop after coming off the hard tyres.
Yeah, Andriy has improved a bit more on this lap, and that's around 1 second he was on. He just run slightly wide there. He got it down to 6/10, but it seems to be on this part of the track where Bisas seems to have a better run than Andriy, and Bisas seems to be able to stretch his legs more than Andriy. Andriy seems to be able to make it up through the second sector, but Bisas seems to be able to get it worked around here. But Bisas comfortably in first at the moment. You want to hope that Andriy doesn't get much closer, but at the moment Bando is just starting to fall away from this battle at the front now, and that's potentially gifting an opportunity for TL4S, who's not too far behind in fourth.
Yeah, of course, this is where that proverbial DRS train will start to come in effect. But thank you everyone for joining us for the 9th round of the season, the IRL F1 League on the PlayStation, with myself, Gareth Hall, and Alan Sabatino in your commentary box. We're here watching a potential championship decider as Nathan is the first one this evening to pick up 3 seconds. He's in 5th place, but now with 3 seconds worth of penalties will drop him down behind Harry. And well, Here goes Rudy down the inside of his teammate JCol into the chicane, and the two Red Bulls swapping over. Of course, what we said at the start of this one, the championship can be sewn up tonight if Harry outscores Stinson by 6 points. So a 5th place result for Harry, if Stinson's to no score, would be enough for him to wrap up his first championship here in Invictus. And on a Monday night, of course, he's been the bridesmaid twice in the last 2 seasons, where he's had to sit behind CRG Gamer 62. And what can he do? At the moment, we've got Finn Marcus out of the race, and Finn Marcus has lost it in a big way in the exit of scene, and we might have, and we do have a VSC, so not quite a safety car. So Stinson, unfortunately, you would have been praying for a safety car to come out then to close him up to the back of the pack, but you can see everyone now starting to dive in off of the soft tyres, trying to make up for the slowed pace. Of course, everyone dropping down to a percentage of their lap time. And it looks as though everyone bar TL4S, who unfortunately will be caught out being so close to his teammate, has to stay out, and TTG Nathan equally being caught out, staying out. So they're going to be, unfortunately, the losers in this VSC period when it comes to making their pit stops. Harry now goes up into 3rd place on the medium tyres. So really, Harry's in a strong position now, you've got to think, because everyone not going on to the hard rubber. Harry's going to have much fresher tyres come the end of this race.
Oh dear, we've got a few people with drive-through penalties, it seems. But it's another one who has really lost out was JCol. He followed his teammate into the pit during that VSC, and it's dropped him way off his teammate now because they were double stacking. He had to wait. So JCol, unfortunately, taking that punishment and unfortunately dropping him down into 11th place now, with Rudy coming out a couple of positions ahead in 9th place. But as you say, TL4S and TG Nathan staying out. But Harry, look, he's less than 2 seconds behind the guys at the front here. So Harry, this has really benefited him well. So at the moment, this is looking really, really nice for him in terms of points to score tonight to win the championship. So yeah, I imagine TL4S and TG Nathan will be coming in at the end of this lap, Gareth, and we should end up seeing Harry leading the race, which, to be honest, after qualifying, I did not expect to say.
No. As we'll see, do they stay out? They do stay out, the two leaders, so they've decided to extend their stint. Of course, everyone trying to make the VSC work in their favour. However, these two soft runners in TL4S and TG Nathan didn't want to double stack like we saw the Red Bulls do. And as you say, JCol losing a heap of time. And of course, the Constructors' Championship can be sealed this evening as well. The Red Bulls need to outscore the Renault of Harry BR25 by, well, if Harry outscores the Renaults by 1 point, then it's Renault that take the Constructors' Championship. Hercules and Harry looking to seal that one. Of course, they've got an 85 point advantage at the moment, and with 84 points theoretically possible over the next 3 races after this one. It's all going to be on whether Harry can do enough, and you can see he's now starting to close in on these soft runners. He's taken half a second out of them this last lap behind everyone bar. Well, we've got everyone that came in has decided to go onto a set hard to run to the end. We've still got, of course, Stinson, Burmeister and Harry out there that started on, or the Burmeister and Harry that started on the mediums. Of course, Stinson came in on lap 1 from the hards onto the mediums, so he's definitely going to have to do another stop. And Bando Biz onto a set of mediums, it seems, but Bando down in 13th position, so clearly an issue for the Racing Point driver.
Yeah, that is a surprise, and just keeping an eye on what was the battle for the lead, Andriy versus Beastas, and Andriy was more than a second behind Beastas, but he's got that down to about 7 tenths. It's just crept back up to 8-9 tenths, but it got down to about 7 tenths of a second. So this battle for 5th place as it stands at the moment, Andriy really putting the pressure on Beastas here to try and potentially eventually take the race lead. But as you can see, TL4S and TG Nathan aren't saying anything about coming into the pit stops just yet, and it's just helping Harry, this, isn't it? Because he's going to get a lovely tow off these two shortly, and with those medium tyres and those soft tyres looking pretty worn now, I can imagine this should be easy pickings for Harry shortly.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. This is working in Harry's favour. If he can clear these guys pretty quickly, at the moment all they're doing is giving him a lovely bit of slipstream with DRS down towards Scene Corner. He's going to get a huge tow off Nathan here as the DRS flap will open. Of course, Nathan with DRS is staying enough ahead so that Harry doesn't have to worry too much about braking a little bit earlier. Nathan's going to close in on TL4S, so it's all about whether Harry can keep it in between the two white lines on either side of the black stuff. and keeping it clean for the rest of this one. Nathan's got a penalty. TL4S needs to come in and make a stop, and the battle for the lead is, well, I say battle for the lead. The battle currently is on between TL4S and Nathan. Nathan's going to go to the inside and gets the move done, so he's up into what is currently first place. However, these two, of course, have got to make a stop, so this is where it's going to start to hurt Harry. He needs to clear them as soon as possible. These two now battling on worn tyres as TL4S gets it all out of shape. Is that going to open the door for Harry to go down the inside? It is. So Harry, unfortunately for him, is not going to have to worry about overtaking two. Now it's only one, so now he can, in fact, now it's not even any, so in fact that's worked out absolutely perfectly if you're Harry BR25. Nathan into the box, TL4S deciding to stay out once again. He's going to try and stay in the DRS of Harry on this lap, perhaps try and do the overcut on the Haas of TGG Nathan. However, Harry, he can just breeze away. Of course, those medium tyres will go a little bit longer, these guys on the softs, and well, all things are looking pretty rosy if you're Harry BR25.
You are, and what isn't rosy is Andriy serving his drive-through penalty now. He did flash up during that VSC, speeding in the pit lane under VSC, and yeah, unfortunately for Andriy, it's going to bring him out just ahead of Foxy Red and Bando battling out for 12th place. So yeah, Andriy was really putting the pressure on BSS, but unfortunately it's now really put him out of contention for that fight for potentially the race victory. So Andriy now down in 11th place behind Stinson in 10th.
Rudy, one Dutchman versus another Dutchman in Burmeister overhead. What can the Red Bull do as he closes in on the Ferrari? Is he going to make a lunge in towards the chicane at turn 8? Not quite close enough this time around, of course. Burmeister on the older tyres. Rudy having strapped on a set of the hard tyres in the pit stops. He's sitting behind the man in the Ferrari as they go around turn 10. And Rudy's going to want to clear him as soon as possible. Of course, Red Bull's still in the hunt for the Constructors' Championship. Although it's looking very slim indeed, he knows that he needs to be picking up as many points as possible. Of course, Rudy, he's picked up 3 third-place finishes so far this season. So he's really been the breakout star of the IRL F1 season so far for the rookies that came up from F2 last time around. Into the box, however, comes TL4S. Will he come out ahead of Nathan, who, of course, was battling with him for the on-track lead just a few laps ago? It's all going to be on, of course, TL4S having to stay out due to not wanting to double stack as JCol picks up a 5-second penalty, speeding in the pit lane. Unfortunately retires from this one. So if that's the case, that's now only one Red Bull versus one Renault. So favour once again going in favour of Harry and the Renault team.
It really is. This is really working out nicely for Harry now. Sat there in first place, 9.5 seconds ahead of Scopefielder, who we've not really spoken much about Scopefielder, have we? He's on those hard tyres. He's making that strategy work so far for him. He's about 3.6 seconds ahead of Beastas, who was in the lead of this race. Beastas slowly starting to catch up with Scopefielder, but Scopefielder having a decent race. It's a bit of a lonely race for him, but he's having a decent race so far.
Yeah. One of a man who's been having a bit of a lonely race. However, he's now starting to get himself involved in a fight is Stinson. Stinson, the man who started on hard tyres, came in on lap 1 for a wing change. Now he's got himself within a second of TL4S, who of course made his stop and is out on fresh hard tyres. Stinson, you've got to think, is going to be coming in for a pit stop later on in this race as well. He's not going to get those mediums to run to the end unless he's an absolute magician of tyre preservation. We'll find out where he falls out. Of course, 6 points he needs to be within Harry for Harry to not win the championship here, round 9, the first attempt or the first possible chance that Harry could win the title. And, well, Harry currently leading, yet to make a stop, of course, started on the medium rubber. He's 10 seconds ahead of Scopefielder. However, you've got to think, when Harry makes a stop, it's not going to be... he's not going to come... Well, he's definitely going to be coming in well inside the top 10. So it's working pretty much in the favour of Harry at the moment, and he's going to be on much more favourable tyres come the end of this one. Should be able to get some moves done. One man that can't get a move done at the moment is Rudy, still stuck behind Burmeister. Burmeister putting that Ferrari in all the right places and making it very difficult indeed for Rudy and Limitless to get a move done.
Yeah, well, I've been watching this. I can imagine Rudy's quite frustrated being stuck behind that Ferrari. But surely now Rudy with DRS should be able to get the move. And Burmeister pulls to the left side to try and stop the tow. But I don't think there's anything Burmeister could do about it. And Rudy just flies past here. Burmeister's not going to give it up, but I think he didn't really have any say in that. And Rudy eventually does get the move done and jumps up into fourth. And I imagine now Limitless will be looking at Rudy and thinking, right, I need to be able to try and catch up with Burmeister. But what's going to help Burmeister here is if he can hang on to the back of that Red Bull, he'll be able to use a bit of DRS to defend from Limitless. So this battle for fourth place is heating up, as we can see just further ahead. Bisas is slowly starting to catch up with Schofield. Is now down to less than 3 seconds. So Bisas getting the work done at the moment, and he's in a good position. For this race victory this evening.
Yeah, unfortunately, Bisas now pretty clear because Andriy and Bando having to serve that drive-through penalty they picked up for speeding under the VSC. So Andriy and Bando, who started in 2nd and 4th place respectively, well, now down in 10th and 11th, so not going in their way. It looked as though they were on for a pretty decent race result tonight, and Andriy, who's been getting better and better and better so far this season, however, he's now going to have to go on the offensive very much over the last stages of this one, but with a 3-second penalty to his name, the likes of TT Nathan as well. These guys doing pretty well so far to keep within the track limits. Not seeing too many penalties popping up. I'm sure we will see a few bubbling over in the late stages of this one as everyone starts to lose that tyre grip and starts to get a bit lackadaisical and a little bit lazy with track limits. We'll see if anyone falls into that. Limitless is starting to close in on Burmeister and the Williams now, who's had his best run so far this season since joining the IRL F1 League back in the early phases of this season. Starting to get a toe off the back of the Ferrari, and Burmeister trying to defend his position, of course yet to make a stop, the same as Harry, who's currently leading this one and stretching his advantage out over Scopefielder. And you've got to think, Sab, that Harry's tyres on the mediums should be starting to fade away in the next few laps. Scopefielder just can't seem to live with him, even though his tyres should be more within that window.
Yeah, he's struggled to keep with Harry, hasn't he? But I think getting into the points is Scopefielder's aim this evening, and I imagine he's going to be mighty fast at the end of this race. And just talking of mighty fast, Stinson has managed to clear TL4FS down in 8th place. TL4FS was ahead of Stinson, but Stinson now into 8th place on those more worn medium tyres, 9-lap-old medium tyres, where TL4FS is on the hard tyres. So yeah, that's a little frustrating for TL4FS. He didn't really need that McLaren to go past him. So yeah, as you can see, that longer stretch, Gareth, for TL4FS on those soft tyres has hurt him this stage of the race, because if you look where his teammate is up in 3rd, but you'd imagine TL4S's tyres should come back to him a bit better towards the end of the race, because he should have a bit more tyre life. So it'd be interesting to see how TL4S ends up in this race, but at the moment that long run on soft tyre has not really worked out for him at the minute.
No, it hasn't indeed, but we'll see if that extra or slightly longer stint on the soft at the start will come back to him later on in a race. Of course, lots of drivers making a stop under the VSC, caused due to Finn Marcus's unfortunately untimely early retirement in a decent qualifying, decent run in the early stages of this one. We've also lost JCol from the race. We've now got this battle between Stinson, TL4S, Andriy and Bando Biz in 11th and 12th as well. So 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th, all within the same shot as they go down the Mistral Straight. Harry, however, stretching his lead out to 13 seconds, and I've just quickly changed over the leaderboard so you guys can all see that Harry has got a pretty healthy lead here, and Burmeister now into the box. So Burmeister is going to jump off of those mediums onto another set of tyres. Now Harry, as you can see, a pretty healthy advantage. He's going to come out around about Stinson if all things go to plan. So that could be very tasty indeed if we see the man who's on for his championship challenge this evening goes on board, comes out alongside the man that's trying to stop him from doing so. Of course, the championship can be decided if Harry beats Stinson by outscoring him by 6 more points this evening. Harry, of course, coming into this evening with 42 point advantage over everyone else. Hercules unable to race this evening. Stinson is the only man left there that can challenge the current Renault leader in the championship. Well, Harry's going to possibly come out right around where that McLaren is.
That would be interesting indeed, and you can imagine Harry will be very quick for the second half of the race. And one guy who's looking very quick now is Beast, as he is reeled in Schofield. Schofield's finally seen somebody on track for the first time since the beginning of this race, and Schofield in second place. His wing mirrors will be soon filled up with an AlphaTauri as we see the race leader Harry into the pit lane. So Harry will be coming in, and be fascinated to see where he slots in. Does he slot in front of Stinson or behind him? Schofield still out there on those hard tyres, but I think shortly he's about to find himself quickly overtaken by Beast, as it's down to about 0.6 of a second now.
And I will go on board with Stinson and see if Harry, who's going to be crawling out of the pit lane, it's going to be close, because here he comes. Harry's going to start coming to the exit of the pit lane now. Is Stinson going to beat him out? It looks as though Harry is going to come out clear of him, in fact well clear of him, up into P5. So Harry hasn't lost any time, and look at that, a lovely clean stretch of track up ahead of him, with Limitless, Rudy, Beastas and Schofield, who's yet to stop, not too far away. So Harry can effectively just go on the offensive now, and he's only going to overtake another 3 drivers, and he's going to absolutely steal this one.
Talking of stealing, Beastas is going to take the lead of this race now. He's going to take it back. Schofield really just had no answer at all there with DRS and a bit of battery, and Beastas makes the move comfortably done there, and he retakes the lead of this race. And be interesting now, Gareth, can Harry get within the likes of Beastas? Can he reel him in? He's on those brand new hard tyres. It'll be fascinating to see what Harry can do now from 5th place. And if he, I'd say, if he can get into a podium place, that'd be a superb result from him to say where he started in qualifying. But Beastas now, he's just got to focus on trying to run into the distance, hasn't he? Forget about any challenges from behind.
As Bando and Andriy fight over around Scene Corner side by side through turn 11 and through into turn 12. Bando just about having to back out of that one, but he's going to go. Oh, he's going to lose it as he goes on the exit, gets on the throttle too heavy, and around the racing point goes. Unfortunately, just didn't quite work. You could see he got a little bit out of shape onto the rumble strips and just opened up the throttle a little bit too much, not on the grippy stuff, and around the racing point goes, and he's going to heat up those, or he's going to have heated up those tyres, so he's going to have to cool it off a little bit. Unfortunately, you can see him kicking out the rear tyres. Frustration with boiling over for the man that's just not had the rub of the green so far this season. TL44S, however, Sam, just going back up to the AlphaTauri, still doing quite nicely to stay in the tow of Stinson. So although Tom dropped behind Stinson, who's due to make another stop, I'm sure, onto a set of soft tyres in a couple of laps' time, Tom's still staying there. He's still being dragged along by Stinson, who's showing some decent pace. He's now in 6th place, so he's not doing too badly. Still some decent points so far for the AlphaTauri.
Yeah, and with TTG Nathan ahead of him, 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds ahead, he's also got a penalty, Nathan. So Tom could potentially steal a 5th place here. But an interesting battle further ahead, Gareth, is we've got Limitless in 3rd, closing in on Rudy in 2nd. So this could turn out to be one hell of a result for Limitless this evening if he could overtake that Red Bull. Rudy currently in 2nd place, 3.5 seconds behind Beastas. But Harry's not too far away either from this battle. He's got it down to 2.3 seconds now. So Harry really starting to press those cars ahead. He could see both the Williams and the Red Bull ahead of him. So this battle for the podium places is right on with 11 laps on the left of this race. So it could be absolutely fascinating. Harry, look at that. Just shows you how quick Harry's going. Fastest lap of the race so far for Harry. So yeah, he's definitely one to keep an eye on here. He's got it down to within 2 seconds now. So Harry really motoring on here.
Yeah, and Harry, if he managed to take the fastest lap tonight, would be the first time that he's taken the fastest lap in, I believe it's around about a season and a half. He's not actually picked up a fastest lap. For the amount of wins he's picked up this season, he's been nowhere near that fastest lap. He just wants to, he's always said he just wants to keep it consistent. But as you can say, that consistency is bringing him right up to the back of this battle between Limitless and Rudy. Limitless, who is having an absolute supreme race tonight. He's raced 4 races here on a Monday night so far. and only picked up 1 point, which was back in Silverstone last time around. Before, it's been 2 0-point finishes and a DNF. So currently, well, he's going to be getting a nosebleed as he's fighting for a podium at the moment between himself and Rudy. However, he's now got a yellow and black, what's going to look like a hornet, chasing him around this French circuit as he sees the man that's leading the championship by a gargantuan marathon distance. Is very much closing him up, almost a tenth of a second per corner. It's now down to 1.4 seconds. Behind Foxy Red is in his what seems like eternal battle with Schofield this season. These two always seem to be attached to the hip this season.
They really do. It's like they're on a tandem bike, an Alfa Romeo spray painted tandem bike. They're always together. Schofield out on the medium tyre now after doing that long run on the hard tyre, so it'd be interesting to see what he could do. He's got Andriy ahead of him, 6.5 seconds ahead, but Andriy does have a penalty, so it'd be interesting if Schofield can reel in Andriy and potentially steal that 7th place off him. And I'm interested also in keeping an eye on Teal Forest, because he's going within 3 seconds of Nathan now, so if he keeps motoring on the way he does, Teal Forest could still steal a top 5 place finish this evening. But just further ahead, Limitless now has got a great opportunity to go and take 2nd place off Rudy. He's reeling in, DRS wide open, bit of battery. Here comes Limitless for 2nd place. The Williams driver takes 2nd place. Nice move there from Limitless, and I think he needed to go. Oh,
Sab.
Gareth.
Done it again.
I went right on board with him just as he cut that corner. I feel for him, I really do, because apart from that, he was having a superb race. Now it'd be interesting to see what he could do now he's got that penalty. But yeah, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, and all complaints can be posted to Alan Sabatino at Alan Sabatino on Twitter. But yeah, Harry now closing in on this battle for 2nd and 3rd. Now well within striking distance in the DRS. As you say, Limitless. Now he's cleared Rudy. Can he start to clear off? And as you say, that 3-second gap and that 3-second window, at least for Limitless, they've got a 4.5 second advantage over Nathan, who's just coming around the final corner now at turn 15. But so Limitless not under too much threat. However, it will be, unfortunately, at the moment dropping off of the podium, with Harry looking as though he's looking very, very racy indeed. Stinson has made his stop as Bando picks up a 5-second penalty, speeding in the pit lane. It's really going from bad to worse for Bando, and that man has been up against the ropes, taking body blows and uppercuts and every single shot you could take so far this season. He comes back for more, so credit to him as Stinson steals the fastest lap after coming in for a set of mediums to run to the end. So it wasn't even a set of softs he was going to go for. It's a set of mediums for Stinson. He's now out of the points. He's down, however, only 0.2 of a second behind Burmeister. So you've got to think that the Dutchman is going to clear the other Dutchman of Burmeister very, very shortly. However, that's Limitless has gone off. Limitless on the exit of of turn 9. He's gone wide. He's gone around. So unfortunately, Limitless having a couple of scruffy laps, and that's him down into 5th place now. So unfortunately for Limitless, as Harry closes in on Rudy and doesn't want to get caught up with any wing damages at this stage of the race. But unfortunately, yeah, for Limitless, with running so well, just the slightest mistake, as it always is here on a Monday evening. Of course, these guys all running no assists. The slightest mistake can cost you just so much time, so many positions. It shows you how crucial it is to be consistent, to be calm, to be collected.
That would be quite frustrating. What happened to Limitless would be quite frustrating for TL4 because Limitless managed to get his car back up and running and going again. But Limitless is kind of held up TL4. He was motoring along nicely, and he got stuck behind that Williams. He wasn't able to get the overtake done on Limitless. So unfortunately for TL4, he's stuck behind that Williams now, so he'll be hoping to try and clear that Williams as quick as possible, potentially on the next DRS check, because he was reeling in Nathan, but it's creeping up now, that time to Nathan. It's around 4 seconds between TL4 and Nathan now, so that's quite frustrating for TL4. So hopefully down the middle straight for him, he'll be able to clear out Williams. But that is desperately unlucky, isn't it, for Limitless? I was really rooting for him this evening after what had been a really tough season for him, but he just needs to keep his head for the next 7-8 laps here, doesn't he? And he can still score decent points this evening. So Limitless just needs to get back focusing again and keep doing what he was doing earlier in the race.
With the disc brakes glowing orange. Harry gets the move done into turn 8, now up into second place on circuit. And now game is very much on. Can he close down on Beastas? 3.9 seconds advantage, 3.8 seconds as Harry's now cleared him. Will he just disappear off the road and leave Rudy in the dust? Of course, Rudy and Beastas having done 14 laps on the hard tyres. Harry only 5, and we're about to start lap 20. So we're 2/3 of the way into this one. And you've got to think that Harry is very much in the ascendancy here. Will Beastas have enough? You can see that gap coming down is almost a tenth of a second as Bando picks up another 3 seconds tonight. He's down in 12th place. Stinson did clear Burmeister. However, at the moment, it's academic, it's elementary for Harry. He needed to outscore Stinson by 6 points, and with Harry currently with 12 points and Stinson with 1, Harry BR25 will be your IRL F1 champion for season 12 if all things go to plan for the Renault. And equally, big news in the constructors with that change of position for Harry and Rudy. That's the 1 point that the Renault team need over the Red Bulls, so it would mean a double championship victory here in France for Harry.
Yeah, he's looking fast, isn't he? Because now it's cleared Rudy. It's already down to 3 seconds. So are we going to get a reverse, Gareth, of Russia? And are we going to get another final lap battle between Beastas and Harry? Because look, it's already under 3 seconds, and I've just got on board with Harry, and he can see that AlphaTauri ahead. So this race victory is definitely within his grasp if he can keep it clean and keep it steady throughout these last remaining laps. But Harry looking absolutely mighty at this stage of the race, and with Beastas on those 15-lap-old tyres compared to Harry's 6-lap-old tyres, Harry really looking like a probable firm favourite here, the way he's just chewing through the times of Beastas here.
Yeah, and I mean, as you say, Beastas will be looking behind him, seeing that gap coming down. I'm just on board with the man currently leading as he's using a lot of battery to try and defend. In fact, he's still got about 50% left, so he's still got some defence once Harry comes a knock in. But I mean, Harry has been, this is probably the most focused I've seen him all season. Very, very bold move to go for starting outside the top 10 and going for a different strategy. He's now 2 seconds behind Beastas, and I've probably been the one over the last few seasons that's wound up Harry as much as possible, and it said that he's bottled so many results, but at the moment he's on for an absolutely blistering result tonight. Will be sealing the championship if all things hold as current. We know he's got several people watching him, several fans. I know his parents sit there watching him as well, and his dad comes and scolds him every evening, every now and then, if he doesn't get it right. So I'm sure Andy would be delighted with what Harry's doing at the moment as they go around, as Beastas goes around turn 9 and in towards the exit of the Mistral Straight. But that gap now down to 3.3 seconds, and you can see Harry already laser focused onto the back of that AlphaTauri as they go around Scene Corner. It's now down to 2.2. It's closing down by around about 0.2 of a second, 3/10 of a second every single sector. These two are going to meet for battle in about 2 or 3 laps time, with about 2.5 laps left to go, I think. Beastas is on for an almighty fight on his hands, and Sab, the last two races we've seen for Beastas versus Harry, well, they've been matched on the line by less than 1/10 of a second, so it shows you how it's close it's going to be.
I can't wait. I really can't wait when these two fight. We normally get a good, clean, hard race. So fingers crossed. I'm keeping an eye on the interesting battle for 5th place right now, because TL4 has still not managed to clear Limitless in the Williams, and TL4 has been stuck behind Limitless, has brought along Andriy, the other Haas driver. So Andriy, who had to serve that drive-through penalty at one point, has managed to work his way back into the good point-scoring positions, and he's got TL4 not too far away. So there's a good battle here for the last few laps for 5th place. Limitless doing decent since he had those 2 scruffy laps there.
Yeah, and the 3-way battle, the closest we've got on circuit before Harry, of course, closes in on Beastas. Now we're in 1.5 behind the leader. Lap 22 of 27 here, the 9th round of the season, the IRL F1 League on the PlayStation. Myself, Gareth Hall, and Alan Sabatino at GT2_driving for myself, at Alan Sabatino as Limitless and TL4S finally do swap positions. So Limitless dropping back behind TL4S. Of course, Limitless, who lost it on exit of the corner. We're just seeing him go through there at turn 9, and that dropped him out of the podium places. He had a scruffy 2 laps and has cost him a whole heap of time and points, but I'm sure he'll still be quite happy. Of course, 1 point is his championship tally so far in the 4 races he's contested in the IRL F1 League. But if you are enjoying it tonight, make sure you do let us know in the comments by coming in. Let us know who you're supporting, who you're watching. And will Harry do it? He's now down to 1.001 of a second. He's within that DRS window on the main straight, so he's within striking distance. He can use some DRS on the exit of the Mistral straight on this lap. You've got to think that is very much a case of when, not if, that Harry catches and passes Beastas. And of course, guys, if you are enjoying the race tonight, give us a like on the video. It really, really does help us out as Rudy picks up 3 seconds. So that might rule him out of this challenge for the win. If Beastas does get past, it looks as though it's going to be Harry versus Beastas now, with Rudy, Nathan, Nicholas and Andriy with penalties. So Teal for S at the moment still in with a shout if he can close in on Nathan of getting some decent points tonight, perhaps even pushing towards the 3rd place finish if tyres start to go off. But here you go, Harry now down to 0.2 of a second, and this is looking all too easy if you're Gareth, Sab.
Yeah, unfortunately, from a neutral perspective, I don't think we're going to have the Beastas Harry battle what we've had previously. I think this is a matter of when, not if, Harry passes Beastas. Beastas will probably keep hold of first place for these few tight corners around here, but I think next DRS straight, you'd imagine is Stinson. Stinson's evening goes from bad to worse there, picking up a 3-second time penalty down in 9th place. But Beastas, he'll feel a little bit frustrated, I imagine, because he's done nothing wrong this evening. Beastas, he's drove a superb race, but Harry coming through the field, and I believe that VSC also helped Harry, and this looks like it's pretty much inevitable now that Harry is going to take this race victory. Is he going to be able to take it into turn 1? No, he's just a little bit too far behind, so Beastas just breathe a huge sigh of relief. But I imagine the Mistral straight coming up, Beastas not really going to have much to do or say about it.
Yeah, and you can see the difference in the cars as we're on board with Harry, is the lateral movement for the AlphaTauri versus the Renault. Renault looking a lot more planted through these corners, whereas Beastas, you can just tell in the mid-corner, just sliding around a little bit, loses a little bit of traction on exit, and this should, here, as we get a DRS boost, how I'm sure, will he even use some battery? I doubt it, he's going to need it. But Beastas looks as though he's got a little bit of a decent setup for tow, but with DRS, Harry's going to close in. He's not quite close enough to get the move done, decided. Perhaps he's just going to sit behind Beastas for the next few laps, knowing that he can really catch him and pass him whenever he wants. Just save some battery here, because you can see he is using some down towards Scene corner, and he's going to close in. In fact, is he going to get the move done early on? He's going to go up alongside of him in towards, there we go, into the exit Scene corner into turn 11. They're side by side. Beastas is going to try and run back in. Oh, it's a bit of contact between the pair of them. Luckily, it didn't turn Harry around. I'm sure Beastas wasn't expecting Harry to make the move there. In fact, Harry being quite smart and making the move after the DRS zone, so it means that Beastas couldn't get as much of a tow. So now it is going to mean that Beastas will get a slight bit of a DRS advantage down the main straight, but already you can see Harry extending that gap. In fact, he's absolutely shot off into the distance. 0.8 of a second is already advantage, so it's now going to be on Beastas. Can he stay within this DRS range of the Renault up ahead? We're on lap 25 for 27, the 9th round of the season here. 3 laps left to go. It looks as though Harry's on his way to an IRL F1 championship.
It certainly does indeed, and it would be thoroughly deserved for Harry. Just further back, TL4 is looking like 4th place is on the cards for him now, because he's got within the 3 seconds needed of TG Nathan, so this could be a decent either. Well, that really should nail it for so for TL4 because TG Nathan's picked up another penalty, so I believe that's 6 seconds. No, he's got 13 seconds, Nathan. Nathan has 13 seconds of penalties, and Nathan has lost it. He's got a flat tyre. Nathan has got a flat tyre. So Nathan is falling and like a stone in water here. Nathan, I don't know what's happened there, but he's got a front left flat tyre. So Nathan, unfortunately, is going to just drop right through the field here, and it's just a disaster for him there. I don't know where he's picked that flat tyre up from.
Yeah, and that's 17 laps on the hard tyres. So unless he's incredibly forceful with those tyres, that surely means that Andriy, Limitless, Beastas, Rudy are all within a threat because, well, 17 laps for a puncture is incredibly low amount of running. So, unfortunately for Nathan, what was a decent race is now falling apart. Oh, he's going to lose on exit. He's just about missed hitting the wall there. Nathan's race, unfortunately, going from bad to worse after that penalty, as you say, probably caused to that tyre delamination and going off. He's picked up 10 seconds and he's now going to have to come into the box and will be plumb last, you've got to think, by the end of this one. But Foxy Red and Bando have come in for a set of softs to try and set some fast laps. Foxy Red, who's within 2.4 seconds of Burmeister, so can still pick up the, I think he's got the fastest lap and can still get a point if he steals it ahead of, in fact he will drop ahead of, it will he will move, there we go, ahead of Foxy Red 2000's, of Nathan, so he's out up into 10th place, so Foxy with the fastest lap and with 10th place. Bisas is now 1.1 seconds behind Harry on the penultimate lap of this one, so Harry looking as though unless he manages to pick up a penalty in the final lap and a half of this one, that he will be going from 12th on the grid, I believe it was, to the win in a brilliant alternate strategy here for the man that's leading the championship, the man that's looking as though he's going to wrap up the championship. Behind, it's anyone's guess, really, with penalties for Rudy, Limitless, Andriy. Scopefielders hoping to close in that 3-second window. He's got to Andriy up ahead, so Scopefielder in for a decent amount of points this evening, which will be an upturn as Nathan unfortunately picks up another penalty on exit on fresh tyres. So there's no excuses. Bando picks up another one as well. We're about to go on to the final lap of this one, the 9th round of the season. Sab, Harry, 1.6 seconds advantage. He can just cruise around this one. You've got to think that the man leading the way here is on towards his first championship here in Invictus.
Yeah, definitely. He doesn't need to do anything silly now. As you say, just cruise to the finish line. He should have a comfortable run here on out. And it's been a superb evening for Harry. I'll be honest with you, I did not expect to see him down in 12th place. And I don't know if there was any panicking from him in that Renault, but he certainly made this strategy work this evening. 2 seconds now over Bisa, so it's just, like I say, cruising into the distance. I think Rudy is just about going to be able to hold off TL4FRS, but he can't lose too much time more because Rudy's got 3-second time penalty. TL4FRS has got it down to 3.5 seconds here, so TL4FRS does manage to get this done. He could steal 3rd place off. We've got a yellow flag as Andriy has gone off the track, but yeah, TL4FRS down to 3.3 seconds, 3.2 seconds now, so TL4FRS could potentially steal a podium place here.
It's going to be very close indeed, but around the final few corners is coming Harry BR 25, the man that has led the championship almost from start to finish, and he's had an absolutely exceptional season. He's going to take the championship with 3 races left to go. What a season this man has had. Harry BR 25 is your IRL F1 champion for season 12, and Renault make it the Constructors' Championship. 2 Constructors' Championships in one race. Beastas in second, Rudy in third. Well, let's see what TL4FRS can do. Can he make up the time to get up onto the podium? It's going to be close between himself and Rudy. Can TL4FRS do it? He does. It's a double podium for AlphaTauri, and TL4FRS makes it his first podium here on a Monday evening. Scopefielder jumps up ahead of Limitless. Stinson only 7th place. It's not enough to take it away from Harry. Foxy Red 2000 has made his way up into 8th place. He's got a penalty, so Burmeister will jump up ahead of the Alfa Romeo man. Andriy, it looks as though that's a double puncture for the Haas drivers. So in fact, Nathan, after picking up a puncture, is going to get ahead of his teammate. So both Haas drivers suffering a puncture in the late stages of this one shows you that those hard tyres were right on the limit. But what can you say, Sab? Harry BR 25, a good friend of ours, absolutely deserving of this championship. He's finally done it.
Yeah, huge congratulations to Harry. He's been absolutely, like I say, absolutely superb. So many victories this season, so many improvements. I think that them battles with CRG Gamer has really helped him and improved him this season. And this tonight just typifies how much he has improved as a driver in IRL on a Monday night, because normally in the past you might have expected him to struggled through the field, but he absolutely bossed it in the end. And I imagine Bisas will feel a little frustrated, but he knows his tyres are pretty much dead. And a big congratulations to TL4 for us then. He absolutely took, I think he took nearly 1.5 seconds out of Rudy just on that last lap, so big congratulations to him on a podium as well.
Yeah, absolutely so. What a result, and what a race there from Harry. The man holding aloft the championship, coming from 12th on the grid to the win here tonight, but a brilliant result for the AlphaTauris. 2-3 finish there. Tom, I'm sure, will be absolutely buzzing with that in third place there. We'll speak to him very, very shortly. I'm sure Sab will have a couple of questions for him. We'll speak to your champion as well. Wrapping it up in round 9, which is probably the only prediction that I've got right this season, that Harry would steal it at round 9. But there you go. From 12th on the grid to the win in 42 minutes and 16 seconds. Harry BR25 is your drivers and constructors champion, with Bisas and TL4S and the AlphaTauris second and third. Rudy in fourth, not enough to overtake the Renaults up into a championship fight going on into the final stage of this one. Scopefield, a good fight back from 14th into 5th, with Limitless in 6th place after a bit of an error-strewn final part of that race. Stinson couldn't quite come back after that wing damage on lap 1 and recovers to 7th. Burmeister in 8th. Foxy Red 2000 comes back into the points with 9th and +1 for the fastest lap. TGC Nathan, unfortunately, after that late puncture, like his teammate, but does manage to salvage a point from it, even with 16 seconds penalties. Bando Biz with a lot of penalties himself in 11th. And Andriy, unfortunately, it was 2 right-left punctures for the Haas drivers that cost them a whole heap of points tonight. He finishes last in 12th with JCol and Finn Marcus, your non-finishers. But Sab, we've got the guys in the box now, and we'll just double check, guys. Make sure you've all got your voices to allow to be shared, so we can hear you all. But I'm sure you've got some very interesting questions for the man that has finally done it. He's broken that streak of bridesmaid seasons of having to sit and watch CRG Game of 62 win the championship. What have you got to say to Harry?
Well, congratulations to Harry. Absolutely superb job this evening. How are you feeling sat here right now, as not only as the IRL F1 Drivers Champion, but also a Constructors Champion as well?
Oh, it's amazing. I think you guys kind of know how long I've kind of wanted this to happen. It's gotta say, I've got close and closer. I think it's taken 4.5 seasons or whatever it's taken, but I'm over the moon, and obviously it was always going to need a little bit of luck in this race to get both championships done tonight. I don't know what happened on Stinson on the first lap. He clearly got damaged, and obviously I knew then drivers was in a good position if there was no safety car. And then and credit to Rudy and JCol, who have been a real good team in Red Bull, done an amazing season. And thankfully, big. I know he's not here tonight. Big shout out, I suppose, to Hercules. He's done an amazing season since coming back, and even Scott as well. So he kind of shared his trophy between the three of us, maybe.
So it looked like, Harry, a difficult qualifying for yourself. Once you weren't able to set a time on those soft tyres, were you just thinking about starting on those mediums and starting on the outside and just seeing what you could do, or was it a case of a little bit of panicking, thinking this is not going your way? How were you thinking after qualifying down in 12th, 13th place?
So it was kind of a bit of strategy in it. So I wanted to immediately invalidate my banker, just so I had a delta to go off, because I wasn't really sure in my mind whether I wanted to start on the softs or start on the mediums outside the top 10. So I deliberately invalidated, went across the line, realised my banker was actually a very good lap, and then I went out, I think, again, and I didn't get near it. So then I thought, I'm just going to stick to it now, go for mediums. Obviously, when you've got a smaller grid, you can kind of get away with doing that as well. And I was just sort of picking my moments. Also, the VSC at first didn't look like it was in my favour, but I think even though obviously Bisas and Rudy and got the shorter, the cheaper stop, the tyres were so done by the end, it was quite hard for them to keep me behind. So, but no, I'm just delighted.
Well, it worked out superbly for you, so congratulations, mate. That is a great way to seal the championship this evening. Absolutely superb. And we'll move on to second place Bisas. You had a superb race for yourself as well this evening. Keiran in the pole position, you was pretty much in the lead of this race for most of the time. Unfortunately, those hard tyres, those really worn old tyres, you couldn't do anything to keep Harry in the end. But are you pleased to come home in second anyway?
Yeah, P2 is good. My pace throughout the whole race was pretty good. Just the VSC came out the wrong time, because if you pit on lap 7, the hards are still really worn towards the end, and I pitted on lap 5, so at the start of my hard stint I was just saving tyres, but Harry was just too close once he came out on the hards, and yeah, nothing I could do against him.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, but like you say, it's a good result for yourself and a good result for your team as well, because we'll move swiftly on to TL4S. Tom, congratulations. I'll be honest with you, I was doubting your strategy of running longer on those soft tyres, but in the end, especially on that last lap, it really paid off and you got within the 3 seconds of Rudy and stole it on the line. How does it feel to be sat here this evening as a podium sitter after what looked like a tough race?
Oh, yeah, I'm so happy with that. It's taken me a long time to get on the podium, but yeah, I wasn't expecting it tonight. I didn't think my pace was going to be that good, but yeah, qualifying went really well. I was nearly at my PB from practice in that lap. So, but yeah, like Beastas said, going long from about lap 7, that's when we were wanting to pit anyway. And yeah, going longer than that, it would have been really hard to finish without a puncture, as you saw. So yeah, decided to go long. I couldn't have pitted under the VSC anyway because Beastas pitted in front of me. But yeah, just to think those last few laps when I saw I was catching Rudy at about a second a lap were probably the most nerve-wracking of my life. But yeah, so happy to finally get on the podium.
I'm absolutely delighted for you. I was watching it myself, and I think you took like a second and a half out of him on that last lap. That was absolutely superb for yourself. So big congratulations on your first podium here this evening. And Gareth, just moving back to you, do you have any more to say, any more plaudits to say towards Harry? It's been a superb this season. And a superb evening once again from Harry. And we go to China next week with not much really to play for.
Oh, well, you say that. I'm sure that they'll sort of light up the grid. It'll be our best race of the season. Don't give me that. I'm sure we'll have a great one next week. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure Harry's holding back the tears now. It's been 36 or 48 long races that we've had to wait for this to happen. He's had to sit behind Gamer for 2 seasons, knowingly that he maybe just didn't quite have the pace to beat him. But this time around, he's learnt from the man that came in and really elevated his pace. And yeah, I mean, like I've always said, I may be Harry's biggest wind-up, but I've always been his biggest fan. Always enjoyed watching his racing, and has improved massively over the last few seasons. So it's genuinely very heartwarming to see him finally take this victory. And Hercules as well, I'm sure will be delighted. A constructors championship for the man in the Renault. His first championship after missing out himself in that fight with Jumper Line in its season 10. So it's a good week all around if you're a Renault driver here in IRL F1. But yeah, mega race for Harry, and as you say, Beastas, quality race from the AlphaTauri driver. Once again, another second place. That's 3 second places, and maybe he's going to be that bridesmaid that turns into the bride next season. We'll see. But and also. Special shout out to Tom TL4S. What a mega race from the AlphaTauri driver. Really delighted to see you finally on the podium here. I'm up where we said you'd be at the start of the season. I said that you'd be my star of the season. Well, finally 9 races in, you've upped your pace and you've joined us here on the podium. But yeah, Sab, what a race! What a way to seal the championship, but not to cap off the season. Plenty more racing left to go. We're off to China next week, so a completely different kettle of fish when it comes to racing. Tight and twisty, and well, as you say, not too much to fight for. But what does that mean that we don't get other people trying to get themselves involved in battles? This is what we see in usual F1 when Lewis tends to wrap up the championship, and we see new people fighting for the win. So perhaps we'll see a crazy fight between the likes of Beastas, between TL4S, behind Andriy, whilst Harry puts his feet up and enjoys this first championship win.
Yeah, exactly. And I hope going into China next week, two hopes that we get some wet weather finally, because these guys probably won't agree with me, but to get some wet weather finally and potentially have another qualifying similar to what we've had tonight. It was really good to see some different guys at the front fighting out. It's a shame that Andriy, for example, picked up that drive-through penalty. It'd be interesting to see how he'd have got on this evening. So fingers crossed going into next week, these guys still, who are further back in the field, still are motivated and will want to try and pick up their first podium, similar to what Tom's done this evening. So yeah, I'm looking forward to China. It should be a good race. We haven't been there for a while, have we? So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what these guys can do next week.
Yeah, we'll do. So make sure you join us in 7 days' time for the Chinese Grand Prix, round 10 of 12 of the season. Plenty more racing left to go here in the IRL F1 League. However, it will be champion-elect Harry BR25 that goes into that one, very much with just extending his points lead and seeing how high he can get up to that all-time points record that I believe Scopefielder holds from the PC League. I may be wrong, but I'm sure it's up around there. But thanks ever so much for joining us tonight. Congratulations to Harry, to Beastas, and to TL44S for their podium finishes. Of course, guys, it went under the radar a little bit, this championship win, but hopefully, if you have enjoyed it, you can share it on the social media. It really does help if you click the share button, share it on the socials. Make sure that everyone can go out and see this race back. Equally, if you are enjoying it, make sure you press the like button. Surely, a like for Harry's championship win should be there. And equally, if you're new, subscribe and ring the bell to be notified every time we go live, Monday through Thursday. Plenty of racing across all three gaming platforms. But you can join us here on YouTube for the F2 League on the PlayStation tomorrow night with Malc in the commentary box, joined for the first time by Daniel. And on the twitch.tv/Invictus Racing League, you can go over and watch Xbox F1 as they contest their 9th round of the season here in China with Keiran and Dom. Wednesday, PS F3 with Hoppers and Wojtek. F4 Andriy, and then PC F1 with Dan and JCol, F2 with Keiran and Fozzy, and then Thursday Quali is Realistic Performance League with Quali with Malc and Tim and Andrew and Matt covering PlayStation and Xbox. So plenty more racing left to go. Thanks for joining us here from Monday evening. From myself, Gareth, and from Anna Sabatino. We'll be back in 7 days' time for the 10th round of the season here at the IRL F1. But Harry, your champion. Renault, your champion. Let's have a fantastic last 3 races of the season. Have a great week, guys. See you later.